Oh, right. 7:02 a.m. and 17.4 degrees. Erin is still alive.
Cold but alive.
Yeah, it was cold last night, man, and the wind was windy, like loud.
It
The rain,
sounded like thunder.
yeah,
At times,
yeah.
It was so loud.
And the rain, for the most part, wasn't too bad, but at times it would be dumping for 3 to 5 minutes maybe, and then it would go back to just being a pretty casual rain. But yeah, it's 17.4 degrees, so I'm not going to jabber too much. I think we're just going to relocate downstairs in case it's pretty outside, but then probably stay in our sleeping bags to let what I assume is just the entire world covered in ice kind of melt up a little bit, because I have micro spikes and Erin does not. So I guess I could just leave her and run.
I'll see you whispering.
So it'd be like
the ponies.
be like The Shining at the end of The Shining. No, we won't do that. But we will go downstairs. Oh my God, go downstairs and see what it looks like. So. It's just about 9:40. There's Erin.
Hi.
We're just leaving Thomasknob shelter. I checked my thermometer just a minute ago and it said 24.6 degrees, but I had been handling it, so it's definitely colder than that. When I checked it about maybe 15 minutes prior to that, it still said 16.8, I think. I'm gonna get one last look at this view. So it is cold still, like real cold, man. But we're doing good. I mean, you know, all things considered. Yeah, like all the 3-liter water bladder that I had filled up last night was basically a slushy this morning with some like hard ice around the exterior of it. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty. That's why we do it right there. Yeah, and then the fuel canister wasn't really working, but even before we were able to play with the fuel canister, we had to get all of our stuff out of the bear box. So when Erin and I went over to the bear box this morning, the whole thing was just frosted and frozen shut. There was no opening it. We tried kicking it and hitting it with rocks and all sorts of things, and finally, you know, kind of looked up at the sky and saw that the sun would be breaking the tops of the trees in another 20 or 10 minutes or so. So we just came back to the shelter. It's probably like 1/10 of a mile away from the bear box. A non-negligible distance, honestly. But came back to the shelter and hung tight for an hour to let the sun crust the trees and bake the bear box a little bit. So we just bundled up back in the sleeping bags and hung tight. And an hour later, luckily, when we went back, we were able to open it up without much trouble. So we were able to get our stuff out, and that was pretty good, because I hadn't even considered. I mean, shame on me, I guess, but I've never encountered a bear box freezing shut. So file that away as something to expect, you know, as a possibility. I guess the alternative would have just been to pitch a bear line, but yeah, up in the shelter last night, I think the coldest we got to that I saw on the thermometer was about 16.2 or so. And like I was saying earlier, the wind and everything was absolutely nuts last night, man. I mean, talk about a strong right decision to stay in the shelter. I mean, the rain was crazy, the wind was crazy, and obviously more than any of that, the temperatures were just absolutely bananas. And I can't imagine being in a duplex in that kind of rain with that kind of wind in those kinds of temperatures. It'd be pretty much scary. So yeah, so the plan had been to bang out like a 10 or 12 or something today and get over to Old Orchard Shelter. Yesterday we took the bypass, which cut off a big loop of the Appalachian Trail. So today we were going to stay on the Appalachian Trail northbound and go to Old Orchard Shelter. But I don't really want to sleep in the cold tonight in Old Orchard Shelter. Well, I'll stop for a minute. Here's the bear box in question. Yes, our tools. I'm trying to smash into it. Look at how pretty it is out here. Like, it's lovely. So that's where the sun came up. But yeah, but Old Orchard Shelter is an old shelter and you know, small, stout, but wouldn't really offer much protection from the sort of conditions that we faced last night. And I think we're both kind of feeling like, you know what, last night was kind of enough for that. So I think what we're probably gonna do, I don't know, we'll kind of see how we feel when we get to the bypass, whether we want to take the bypass or whether we want to stick on the AT, you know, basically whether we want to double back the way we came yesterday or whether we want to stick on the AT and go through the loop, which would cut into the top, northwest corner of Grayson Highland State Park. So yeah, either stay on the AT or take the bypass, and then either way, skip Old Orchard Shelter, get back to the car, and head to Marion and stay with a wonderful Indian couple who has a wonderful motel that I stayed at when I was through hiking in Marion. I forget the name of the motel, but if we wind up there, I'll share it. So yeah. Mom, you got anything to add?
I mean, I've never camped in this sort of temperatures or elements before, but I'm glad I was with you.
Oh.
Because you have the knowledge and experience of doing so. And I mean, I'm cold. I'm happy. My toes are probably the unhappiest part. And just like, just the whole, yeah, it's really pretty. That's all.
Yeah.
It's nice.
Good. Well, alright, well, with that endorsement, we're gonna get hiking. Oh look, more crazy people. Alright. Alright, I'll check in with you later. Good morning. 437, 32.4 degrees. Made it back to the car. Over at Virginia, I think it's 603 is the road. Pretty good hike. Definitely pretty tired. There's Erin. Yay! Made it out of the woods. So yeah, so I don't think it ever got warm today. I know it never got warm today. It barely ever got above freezing today. But it was a good hike. Good hike for sure. Forget if I mentioned it in an earlier clip, but I think I did mention. We're back at the car, as I mentioned. So the original plan was to stop back at that old orchard shelter, but we're not going to do that. It was just a cold, brutal night last night, and more of the same likely tonight, albeit without the rain. But we're back at the car. We're going to cruise up the road another 30, 40 miles. Find a nice spot to bunk up over in Marion. Get
Nice
some
warm bed.
Yes.
Nice shower.
We'll see whether I take a shower or not. I mean, yeah, definitely get a bed, definitely get some dinner, and I'll probably check in one more time. Let me go just do one final blaze to tap out. That's where the trail crosses on down at this lovely side. All right, probably check in over in Marion.